Hello everyone, my name is Ssas Database, and in this video I'll be showing you how my database works in Ssas. So in my earlier videos and tutorials I have talked about how to create SSIS and how to do SSRS, and I'm sure you guys have had a lot of SSAS, SSRS, and SSIS. So for this time around, it's SSAS, and SSAS is SQL Server Analysis Services, which can be used to create OLAP, online analytical processing. So first, will be for you to do SSAS, you have to have your schema. For this database of mine, it requires, like, I have to create like two star schema. But then you hear a lot about dimension fact tables and staging in my video now. So but the first thing I did was, when I wanted to start creating my SSAS, so I have this database that I've done in my previous video, and I have this database there, and what it does is it has data containing books and customers, employee, vendor, other line pertaining to the customers and employee. So since I have this data, all I did was generate the script from this part of my database, which is very easy to do. Go to tags, then all you need is to import this data. So then when I got the script, since I'll still be using my schemas and data, same thing for this thing. So what I did first is to create a dimension table. And what I mean by a dimension table is all the tables that I wanted to use for my SSAS needs to be created. So what I did was I created the dimension tables, and I included a surrogate key. So this is my surrogate key for this table, book category, and I did identity for each of these surrogate key as shown in this query. So I have this this information, like in these tables, the queries that I used to create my tables. So customer, I did a customer key, which serves as my surrogate key. So, and I included all my other columns in it. The same thing goes for all of the queries, and that's what I did. So I ran the script, created the tables, and the next thing I did was that all this my data from my from my existing database. When I generate the script, I also generate the insert statement with it. So I have this, so I inserted all these queries into my database to get the my new database, which is the book SSAS for my dimension table. So from there, the next thing I did is I need a fact table. I need a staging table. So what I did is for my staging table, I wrote some queries as well. So for my staging table, all I did is I used most of my tables. I used my customer table, the other line, others, employee, and job title. So I used that as well. So, and I wrote these queries to join. I did a left join to join this other line, books, shipping method, employee, customer, and job title together. So when I run these queries, you get your staging table. But then you need to, once you get your staging table, this is my staging table. So you can go right here. Okay, so this is my staging table, which is new staging. So I have this staging table created. All you need to do is just run the script that I did, right, by writing some SQL statements, and make sure to include your columns, the column names that you have in these tables right here. So the next thing I did is insert tables, insert the records from my staging tables into my new fact table, which I have over here. So, and this is the queries that I did for that. So I also did the same thing for my second staging table, which is the fact table for vendor, which is right here. So from there on, I wrote another queries to insert from my staging table, which is for the stage vendor, into my new fact table for my fact vendor. So I have the new fact table and I have the fact vendor. This staging table is for vendor and the staging table is for my sales, my book sales. So, and then from there on, you need to create a relationship between the tables. You need to create a relationship between these tables. So what you can do is right click here, because you really need to create a relationship to make this work in Visual Studio, like to be able to make the relationship between your fact table and your dimension. So you kind of need a relationship for that. So to get the relationship, I already did that, but I'm just gonna quickly show this right here. So what you need to do is right click on database diagrams. So from there you can choose the tables. For me, I'm using the deep books, customer, employee, job title, other line, others. So what you need to do is select this with your new fact table. So let me do that quick. I already did that though, but then you can do that as well, depending on your database and depending on the tables you want. So I have my books, I have customer, employee, job title, other line, others, and what else? Okay, I think that's it. So then you need to click on your fact table as well. So once you're done with that, click add. Okay, close. So because I already have this relationship created already, so but if you don't have it created, then you have to start for the surrogates key right here, for the others key, you have to drag it to your right here, you have to drag this to your others key and make sure it is the same name. So this is my primary key over here and this is my surrogate key in my new fact table. So when you do that, you do the same thing for customer. Drag this to make sure you have the customer key right here. Drag the job title to form a relationship between others things. So this is my fact table and this is my dimension table. So this is the relationship I have, and I did the same thing for my the second fact table as well. So this is kind of how it is. This is what you need to do in SQL Server Management Studio before you move to Visual Studio to do your SSAS. But you really need to create this relationship. So I have two fact tables in my SQL Server Management Studio. So that means I should be able to get these two fact tables from my SQL Server Management Studio to my Visual Studio. So this is kind of like how it is. And these are the queries that I use to create my staging, create the dimension tables, and insert from staging into my fact table. So to do for the second one, you can right click as well. Let me check the tables I have in my vendors, in my fact table for vendor. So I have this. I have product vendor orders, product vendor order line. I have the books, which is my product, and the vendorship. So let's create a relationship as well. I already done that. So you can right click again to get your new table. So what you need to do is select your vendorship and select this vendorship, and what else? Product vendor order line, product vendor order, and which one? I have another one. So let's do shipping method maybe, but I'm not sure it's on because you have to include all the primary keys in your dimension table into your because I already have a surrogate key in my dimension table. So now this is my fact vendor table, so you can select this as well. And since I already have this relationship before, so it might have created it as well. So right now this is it. So this is my other dimension table. I have another table that is missing, so this is because this is not part of it, so that's why this is not going to be joined to it, because I already made the relationship. Like I said earlier, all you need to do is drag this. So I'm missing my vendor no, I have this, so I'm missing my vendor table, so I'm missing this table. So as you can see, all these ones are in my fact vendor. I have the product vendor order line key, product vendor order line key as the surrogate table in my fact table. So this is my own as a surrogate key in my dimension table. So all these keys and all this data has to be included in my fact table. So the fact table contains the measures. So this is how it is. So I have this schema created, and so after all this, making the relationship and that, all when you do that, I don't need this, so I'm not gonna save it. So because I already have it created already. So this is done. We already have our dimension table. We have the staging table, 2 staging tables, and I have 2 fact tables. So I have like two star schema. So the next thing we need to do is go to our Visual Studio. So I already created this. So if you watched my earlier tutorials on SSIS and SSRS, creating your data sources won't be that difficult. All you need to do is, if I wanted to create another, because I already created this data source, so if I wanted to create another data source, all I need to do is right click right here and click on new data source. So for SSAS, you need to create a data source just by right clicking right here to create your data source. So in my SSAS developments screenshots, I have this full details of it, how to do this, right? How to create the data sources step by steps in my SSAS screenshot development, which I have in I can show you in this tutorial when I'm done. So it's so easy to create that, and we can quickly go over it, but then it's gonna be, so you can do that by just clicking right here to create the data source. You need to create your data source views, which contains your related tables and all that. I need to create a new cube just by clicking on new cube. So these are I've created my data source and my data source views and book and my cube as well. So for it, once you are done with doing these things, once you create your cubes, you get all of your dimensions from the SQL Server Management Studio, because the SQL Server Management, you're getting this data from, that's the data source. You're getting it from your SQL Server Management Studio. So, and I have these dimensions as well. Once you create the cubes and you do the process, right click to process, to process this, then you get all of these dimensions. So what I wanted to show in this query is, why I'm not going to dig into showing us how to create data source and data source views, but I'm still going to show you the screenshot that I took when I was creating this project. So the thing is, right now I just want to show you the fun things you can do with SSAS, which is really interesting. You don't even have to write queries. All these things, once you have all your data being input from your data source, which is your SQL Server Management Studio, it is so easy for you to work on those things. So the next thing you need to do is, if depending on the kind of queries you have, probably you want to get your customer details and the number of orders they've placed in a particular day, or your employee numbers and employee names, last name and all that. You can do that without even writing queries, just from some form of analysis. So so then after doing all this, you get to see this, like I have in my these are my schemas, and this is my new fact table, the one I have in my SQL Server Management Studio, and this is the fact vendor, which I have all of these dimensions forming relationship with it. This is possible because I already made the relationship in SQL Server Management Studio. So to see your Coops design, once you to see your Coop design, so this is the design, and this is how it is. So I'm gonna quickly run some queries. So to do that, what you need to do is go to your Coop design, which is where I'm in this place right now. So to get all this done, to write a simple queries, you have to go to your browser. Right now I'm in my browser. This is the Coop structure. So this is what I was looking for. So once you do process this, then once you're done with creating your Coops, what you see is this. You have your fact table. You have your fact table, fact vendors table that has these dimensions: product, vendor, order, vendorship, books, and vendor. And for the rest, you have for the new fact table, I have the shipping method, order line, orders, and employees. So this is what it looks like. This is the schema. So this is how it looks like once you process those Coops when you create it. So the next thing we need to do now is try to run some simple queries and see if this is actually working. Then I did something earlier which I'm still gonna show in this video. Then I'm gonna show something briefly. So the next, if you want to get queries, like you want to query your thing, what you need to do is go right here to your browser when you are in the Coop section. So you just go book ssas.coop, this section, go to click on your browser, then you get to this screen. You see this screen. So imagine if you go to click on measures. From the measures you can see the fact vendor table that I've created and your new fact table, the one that I created earlier. So if you look at some of these dimensions, you can see that I only have books key, only the surrogate key. I don't have like the book price, book name, book title, and all that. So because I haven't edited this and include all these details, which I'm going to show you earlier on in this video. And for the customer, because I already edited this to include the customer city, customer email, customer name, and customer ID, last name, and phone. So I have this information, but if I haven't done that, the only information I'm gonna have here is just the customer key. So just put that in mind. I'm still gonna show you how to do that. And the same thing goes for this job title. I only have this, so I can edit this by going to the Coop structure right here. By going to I went from this browser to the groups structure. So let's say I wanted to do it for orders, because right now I don't have any information in orders. I only have the orders key, and that's it. So let's say I wanted to edit this to include probably order ID, order date, price, or any other thing that needs to be in the information that needs to be here. So what you need to do is go to Coop structure right here on your left, go to orders just by clicking here, then you click on edit this, click on this. So once you do that, you see this right here, you see this information right here. So the next thing you need to do is take the column that you need to run queries on, like probably the order ID, this one. Probably you need the order date, order quantity, order date, and discount, tax rate, and maybe expected dates. Any information that you need at all, subtotal or something like that, or shipping cost. So what you need to do is, after selecting the columns that you need, you just need to drag it right here to to your left, to the left side. Then you have this. So if I once you're done with that, what you need to do is click on right here on process, so that this information is being, and you get this. Don't, never mind, just click yes and you get this. So okay, still click yes. So it takes a time, it takes time, so you just have to. So I can see it's being deployed, so then you click on run. Process succeeded, so this looks good. Then you click on close, and you can close this as well. So now let's go back to our book SSAS, and then go back to this. So once we go back to this, to the book SSAS for the let me close this. I'll close this. So yes, so once you're done with that, you can go back to your book SSAS design and click on browser. So I'll scroll this down. So let me refresh. You can refresh this. So once you go to your orders, you can see that now we have like other column names in these orders. We have discounts, we have expected date, order date, order ID, but earlier on we didn't have this record. So I only have orders key, and these are the only record because I already edit this dimension. The same thing goes for this one as well. So this also has just the product vendor UL key, which is the key that I have there. That's the only record I have there. So if you want to do the same thing for this, all you need to do is go to your COOP structure and edit this particular table. So it's as easy as that. So now let's do some let's see, why are we building this? Actually, we should see how effective this work, or we should see if it's possible to run queries without having to write queries. So first I have I have questions here. So now from what I have here, I want to get the customer number, customer first name, and customer last name, the orders keys, the book keys, and the subtotal. Maybe probably you have your boss tells you to get the list of customers or subtotal, or run analysis on it. So what you need to do is come right here to this space, to this screen. So what you need to do is come right here. Then what you need to do is okay, I'll just minimize this. So what you need to do is to get your customer information, including the probably the subtotal or number of books they bought or they purchased from your company. So depending on what you're selling, right now I believe I'm selling books. So to get that, all you need to do is click on this plus icon. So drag this customer ID over here. Okay, drag the customer all name, last name, customer first name, drag it over here. And what else do we need? Okay, I think that's all. So then for the book keys, or you want to get that, you can drag this as well over here. And for probably you want to get the order information and all that, you can drag this or this key to this place. And then the subtotal, the subtotal has to do with the measures. So we have measures and we have dimensions. And go to the new fact table for this. Then you drag this as well, this measures right here. So once you're done with there, you can see as you're bringing these column names, dragging them to this, you can see that there is this click to execute the query. So what you need to do is click on right here. So as you can see, I have informations about my customers, the customer ID, customer name, first name, books, others, key, and subtotal. So I have this information right here now. So it's as easy as that. So and if you want to make another queries or run another analysis, all you need to do is right click and right here and click on clear grid. So let's imagine we want to get our customer, our employee's name, employee first name. Let's drag this, and employee last name, and maybe street. Let's see. And you want to get the, let's say, probably subtotal. You can drag this as well and click to execute the query. So as you can see right here, I have my you can adjust this to see this. Yeah, so yeah, you can adjust this to see the other details of the employee street. So from here I can get my employee name, last name, employee street, and subtotal without even writing any queries. Just by the use of so I can get this information without writing any queries. So it's really easy, and it makes it faster, and you don't have to write queries every time you want to query your database and all that. So SSAS is really fun to use. Yeah, it's so interesting, like really fun to use. And then so what other things? So I said I was going to show us how to create the data source views, and the book, the groups from the scratch. So I have this documents that I created when I was making the screenshot for the SSAS development. I call it my SSAS development. So let's see. So you can do the same thing for the other dimensions as well, other line. So job title, for the job title, I already have this, so I can edit it like I did earlier for the others to get this other column names in there. And I can do for vendorship depending on what I need to run analysis on. So that's pretty much some of the things I would like to show in my database and what I've done. And there are so many queries that you can run, so I'm just keeping it to this main one for now. So this is kind of like the screenshot. So the first thing you need to do for the SSAS is when you create a new project, so then you have to click on the data source like I showed earlier. Then once you do that, you right click on data source, you see create new data, and the next thing you need to do is click on next, select your server name. In this case, my server name is this one. Click new to create a new data source, and you can, once you do that, you enter your password and select your server name, and you can also test the connection to see if this is okay. Then you select your server, your connections. From there you click next as well. Then to create your data source view, all you need to do is click on the data source view like I showed earlier. The same thing, do the same thing, click next, and for this one. So, and then this is where the thing is. For the data source view, you have to select your fact table, the fact table, and the fact vendor. So it could be anything depending on your fact table. So what you need to do is, after selecting this, you drag this to the right side. So once you do that, then once you click on new fact table, you can click on add related tables. So all these tables that are related to the fact table, the dimension tables that I created that has relationship with it, that I did in SQL Server Management Studio will show up here. The same thing goes for the fact table. Once you click on it, you click on add related tables. It's all the informations, all the dimension tables that you've created and you've made the relationship will show up. So these are all of it. Then you click next, then finish. That's it. So then once you do that, you see the screen right here. So this is the screen, and this is still the screen. So the next thing is to create the cube, and the cube is easy as well. You just need to right click on the new cube, and that's it. Then you click on next, then you select, okay, you click on next. Yeah, so these things are easy to create, and you can see I have my new fact table and my fact vendor. So all you need to do is select these two fact tables, then click next as well, and these are all the dimensions. Click next, and once you're done, you click on finish, and you will see the screen like this. This is the fact table, and these are all the dimensions, the relationship with it for the fact vendors, and the same thing for the fact table. So then once you are done with that, you can click here to you can click on the cubes that you've created to process it. So once you process it, you see something like this. Then you still click on yes, and that's once you're done with that, you click on run, and that's it. This has been deployed. Then you can see your edit measures, you can see your measures and everything right here. And so this is what I did earlier when I said for the others that doesn't have any column names in it. So what you need to do is right click on this to edit it. So this is kind of like how I created the data cells, the views and the cubes. So this is it. You can run queries and do all sort of things. And if you want to clear this, all you need to do is right click on it to clear grid. And if you don't want information about your customers or employee, depending on what you need to run analysis on, so you can choose any one of this. So this is how my database works, and I hope you learned one or two things from it. And thank you.